I am so happy to introduce a fellow audiobook narrator to the show. She was also a foster mom for several years, and I can't wait to dig in with her. Nikki Zakocs, welcome.
Thank you. Hi.
Hi. So, you are a fellow audiobook narrator, as I said, although I don't think we've actually met in person, have we?
No, I don't think we have.
And we're both part of a secret group on Facebook that will remain nameless, but it's an
Mhm.
awesome group of audiobook women. And I put out a little thing saying I was recording season 3 and did anyone have experience? And you reached out. So I'm happy to talk to you today. Give us a little bit of background about your how you came to foster care, firstly, and what that looked like for you.
So, I have 3 biological children, and when they were, I wanna say about the ages 5, they're 2 years apart, 5, 7, 9-ish,
Mhm.
um, my husband and I were discussing adoption, having a 4th, but, like, my body was done with doing any more birthing.
Mhm.
And I've just always been interested in adoption. I have a lot of friends, who have adopted and something that was always just close to my heart. So we started and did the deep dig into the
Mhm.
black hole of what adoption is and how you can adopt and all the different options. It was very overwhelming.
Mhm.
And, we kind of just did everything. We took our time, 6 months to a year, my husband and we did a lot of talking, a lot of discussing. And it just came down to many different factors of if we were gonna do it, it was probably gonna have to be international, and with cost and having 3 kids and everything else in
Mhm.
life, we just decided that was not gonna happen for us.
Okay.
S
Let me ask you just out of curiosity,
Yeah.
why international? Why would it have to be international?
Well, at the time, yes,
Mhm.
that's a great question. We were just thinking, trying to remember, see, this is, like, so far back, so I really wanna make sure I get my answers right. I had a lot of friends who had adopted internationally, so I think that was the path that I was looking at, and at the time, yeah, that was it. I had 2 friends,
Okay.
very close friends, who had adopted internationally, so I just automatically went that path, and then
Right.
once we went in and we did more research, then we realized that there were so many other ways to do it.
Mhm. Makes
Um,
sense.
and it led us to the foster to adopt path.
Mhm.
And we went into it very open-minded. We didn't know what we were gonna do. We just first of all, I was just kind of surprised that my husband was like, "Sure, let's do it." And,
Yeah.
he's like, "I can." We had the training was like 6 weeks or something like that. He's like, "I can do anything for 6 weeks." He was very open-minded, and it surprised me, and it made me very excited about it. So we went into it very open, not really knowing what to expect, what we wanted, what we were gonna do.
Mhm.
And, it ended up because I was a stay-at-home mom after we went through our licensing and everything like that,
Mhm.
basically, we just got the newborns, like, straight from the hospital, most of them
Okay.
premature or, with medical issues, and,
Okay.
so and when you get those, they're not a quick it's not a quick visit, so
Mhm.
we had them all for very long periods of time. And
S
the first couple, we were open to, like, where's the path. Go ahead, interrupt me.
well, I just wanted to ask, so just to clarify, you were seeking to adopt, not
We were
just to
open
foster.
to adopt.
Okay.
We were really focused on the fostering with being open to adopt. We just
Got
didn't
it.
know, we didn't understand, we didn't know what we were doing or what we were getting into. We were open to anything. Let's say it this way, I was like my heart was like, "Okay, I really wanna do this to adopt." My
Mhm.
husband was more like, "Let's take it let's take it step by step and see where it goes." So,
Got it.
we
Got it.
weren't completely on the same path in my head. I was just like, this is what we're gonna do." And he's
Uh-huh.
like, "Let's just be open to it."
Got
So,
it. And were you clear at that time how sort of, difficult it might be to adopt through foster care? Did they make that clear in the,
Yes,
training and all of that kind of stuff? Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And did you involve your children in this decision? Was there a discussion? How did you bring that up to the I can't remember what you said the youngest one was.
Yeah.
Maybe
When we
6, did you
started
say?
when we started, she was 7, so yeah.
Okay. Okay. So
Mhm,
at that point, so 7, what was it, 9 and 11 or something like that, they can have a real conversation about this.
mhm.
Did you have that conversation?
Oh, yeah, we had the conversation. I mean, my
Okay.
youngest had to give up her bedroom to go share the bedroom with her sister in order to
Uh-huh.
do this, and, yeah, we had the family conversation. I mean, they
Mhm.
were very excited about it. I mean,
Mhm.
to what level they understood it at that time, I don't know.
Right.
Um, but our life was chaos already up to that point, having kids that close together, like,
Sure.
it was a very chaotic, busy house,
Yes.
so it was like adding one more, you know?
Yeah, bring it on.
Yeah.
But you so then you said that you wanted to do baby like, that you wanted a baby if possible. Is that what you told the were you
No,
going through
no.
an agency or the county?
Went through the county, and
Okay.
we were open for anything, but,
Okay.
because I was a stay-at-home mom, and there's not many of those in the foster care system, that's what that's what we got the calls for every
Gotcha.
time,
Gotcha.
um, because those
Okay.
were the ones there weren't anybody that they could just take them from the hospital, and you can't put them in daycare until they're 3 months old, so they had to have
Mhm.
somebody that was at home.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. And was that like, had you was that fine for you, or were you like, "Oh, wow, I wasn't really expecting, like, a newborn?" Because that's such a if your youngest child is 7, going back to the newborn stages, that's a lot.
It was a lot.
Yeah.
I was fine with it.
Okay.
I was fine with it. After I think, we had, like, 7, and it got
Mhm.
harder, and that will lead to probably why I later will tell you that we ended up not adopting.
Yes. Yes. I would love to hear
Yeah.
about the very first placement, and then we probably don't have to go through each
Right,
all
right.
of them, but, what was that like, the first placement? What happened?
So the very first placement was a 3-month-old, so it wasn't directly from the hospital, but it was a young baby.
Mhm.
Got the and it was, like, literally 3 days after we were licensed. So there was no,
Mhm.
like, we didn't have a lot of time to think about
Right.
it.
Yep.
They called and they said, "We have this child, and, we need a placement right now.
Mhm.
Can we bring can we bring her over?" And it was just like that, in the
Yeah.
middle of the day.
And did you have the room set up? Was it set up for a baby, or what how was it set up?
So the room, we set it up with a crib and a twin bed. It was just very simple. A
Okay.
crib and a twin bed. I had
Mhm.
a lot of saved a lot of stuff from my kids as far as, like, clothes and decor and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And then I lived in a community that was like I think I sent out an email at that time, and instantly I had people bringing over, clothes, bottles, all that kind of
Mhm.
stuff.
Yeah.
Just enough to get started.
Sure.
I had stocked up on a little bit of diapers and,
Mhm. You had to
everything
get
they
a
tell
car
you in your
seat?
training,
Yeah, because
you
you
know?
probably had no more car seats, or maybe you did have a car seat for the 7-year-old, but, you had to get an infant car seat and all
Yes,
of
and I
that.
didn't
Yeah.
have a car seat. Somebody in the neighborhood actually brought me that car seat. So, yeah,
Oh, wow.
everything was like that. Yeah,
Mhm. Mhm, mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, I always like to mention that because a lot of people think, "Ah, I don't have the funds, or I can't buy all this new stuff," and it's like, it is amazing to me the way a community will
Mhm.
rally over a foster child coming to
Oh my
live
god,
with you. I mean,
everything,
it's
like,
so beautiful.
you need,
Uh,
basically.
yeah, it is just such a great it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Good, so you were set up, the baby came they dropped off the baby,
Mhm.
and then what?
So, I mean, a beautiful baby girl, obviously,
Mhm.
and, so that was great and beautiful, but literally within 24 hours, we had to be back at court, and that was
Mhm.
that and, at court, meet the biological parent and do all that.
Mhm,
That was
mhm.
really scary,
Sure. Yeah.
difficult, just never having to do anything like that and be put in that situation and not knowing what what was gonna happen, what the reactions were gonna be on
Yes.
the other side and all that kind of stuff, so, and you have to bring the baby with you to court too, which is
Yeah.
really weird.
Crazy. Yeah.
Um, so did that, but then ended up having her for, I wanna say 5 months.
Mhm.
Um,
Okay.
and I mean, the experience was great. She fit right in, the kids loved her.
Mhm.
I had a great social worker that was just very supportive and helped me with everything,
Mhm.
doctor's appointments, like a lot of doctor's
Oh,
appointments,
yeah.
um, getting the child set up on, WIC so that when or if they move on or go back home, they have all those things so that the
Yes.
whoever's taking them can get them the basically, it's, like, about formula and
Mhm.
or milk, like, the other things we didn't need, but, like, we didn't honestly, as a family, like, we were okay where we could have taken care of that child with whatever money we were getting, small
Yeah.
amount of money we were getting. Um, so going and, like, getting them set up for all those things was not for us, it was for the child, because you just don't know what's gonna happen to the child, and when they move on, you want them to have everything that they can have for them, like
Absolutely. Yep.
a doctor established, all that
Mhm.
kinda stuff, their Medicaid, all that stuff
Yep.
established, so that's like a
Good.
whole 'nother thing you're not really ready for, you know?
Right. And that's a really good point to make because I think that, a lot of people think, "Well, I don't need this. Like, we don't need to do WIC." And it's
Right.
like, yeah, it's really not for you, it's for that child. Yeah, absolutely. So, what happened? So you had her for 5 months. I'm sure you were becoming attached at that point. Your family was becoming attached. And did it look like were you kind of aware the entire time? Were you doing visitations with the family? Were you aware that it looked like reunification was going to happen?
So, yeah, so we were doing visitations. She never ended up going back to her biological mom. She ended up
Okay.
going to a guardian, which was just a random friend of the mother's, wasn't
Mhm.
anybody related,
Mhm.
um,
Mhm.
and it was who originally wanted to take her when she went into custody, but for some reason, they wouldn't let her, so she had to whatever, get her license or whatever to
Aha.
get her, so she
Interesting.
ended up going to somebody else that wasn't, the mom was a young mom
Mhm.
who had 2 other children and had a lot of,
Were
uh
the other 2 children in the system already? Like, had she lost the other 2 children
they
to
were
the
in the
system?
system, but they
Okay.
had a different father, and their father, um, was a little bit more, uh, involved. So,
Uh-huh.
like, the father would take them if he absolutely needed to,
Okay.
um, but this daughter was from a different father, and that father
Mhm.
didn't wanna have anything to do with her. It was it's always complicated, it's never just
Yes.
black and
Yes.
white,
It
so
is.
she ended up going to that other person, and as far as I know, that's who kept her forever.
Oh, wow. And so you weren't able to keep in touch in any way or anything like that?
No,
No. Were
no.
you able to send any pictures with her, any kind of stuff so that she could remember that she won't remember it really,
Yeah.
but she can look back and know that she was kept safe for those 5 months and that she lived
S
with you?
so after each child, I made a photo book
Mhm.
that had photos from the whole time that they were with us, with some writing on it, with our names on the back in case, like,
Mhm.
one went with the child whoever they went with, and one also went to Child Protective Services in their file, and
Mhm.
then we kept one. So, they had one which probably, who knows, whoever took them may not have kept, but there's
Mhm.
one in their file so that if they ever go look up their file.
That's so beautiful, and what a great idea. I've never heard of that. That's a really good tip to give one to the county for the
Yeah.
file. Did your classes teach you that, or was that something you just thought of?
No, I just did it.
That's beautiful.
Yeah,
That's really good. Good
yeah.
thinking. So each time you got a new child in your home, um, did it get easier to let go, or was it never easy? Like, was there a point where you were just like, "Okay, this is just another it's probably not going to happen." I'm just curious about that.
No, I mean, it was never easy,
Yeah.
um, especially sometimes knowing where they were going to.
Mhm.
Um, I will say though, the more we did it, when they would go back to family, not necessarily their biological parents, but
Mhm.
somebody within their extended family, I always and knowing whatever their situation was, um, I felt like, okay, at least they're with family. They have people who they can connect with, identify with,
Mhm.
and, like, because I know from a lot of my friends who have adopted kids who have said,
Mhm.
as they get older and they get to a certain age and they start questioning where they come from and they don't have that connection and they don't so I always in my mind was like, "Okay, well, at least they have that." And
Uh-huh.
if they were not, if I felt at least comfortable with the person that they were going to, it's not me, obviously, um, and not our family, but, like, I know that they were gonna be taken care of, and they're with people who love them. Mm, at least I had peace of mind with that.
Mhm. Yes,
But it was
absolutely.
never easy. I mean,
Right. Right. What was the longest, period of time that you had a child in your home?
I think 18 months.
Oh, wow. That's a
Yeah.
long time. Yeah. Can you talk about that one?
That one, was a little girl who came to me, and she was medically fragile. When I got her, she was on oxygen and a heart monitor. She was born premature, and, her mom was addicted when she had her, and she was the easiest baby because she had been in the hospital probably for, like, a month before I even got her because she was so premature.
Mhm.
And so she was just scheduled, like, when you're in the hospital like that, they're so
Yes.
scheduled and regulated.
Mhm.
And so, she was super sweet. She ended up going to her father, her biological father, who had many, many, many children from many, many different women. And, that was really, really hard to see because I knew when she went back to him, it was him and his girlfriend, and I knew that wasn't a stable situation. So I
Mhm.
was I was like,
Mhm.
I don't know what but the funny thing is we never stayed in touch, but, through this wonderful day and age of social media,
Mhm.
I have kept rigorous notes on all of this stuff. So I have people's
Wow.
names and stuff
You
like
mean
that, and I
the
can
families? The families that took that they were
yeah. So I just,
reunified with?
once in a while, I'll do a little research on my own just to
Mhm.
peek and see if I can see where the family is at or if the child is and it gives me a little peace of mind that, okay, that little
Yeah.
girl now is 13 years old, and, I have seen she has a social media account, and I mean, I don't
Wow.
follow her, and I don't even, like I don't
Yeah.
stalk her. I looked
Sure.
once, and I saw, like, okay, she's okay. She's
Oh.
okay,
Yes. So that made you feel better.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. Y During that time, so you had her for 18 months. Was there ever w were you able to say to the county, the social workers, like, "Look, she's bonded, she's doing great," like, or is that just it doesn't matter because the the birth connection is just where it goes, no
Yeah, I
matter
think,
what?
the rule is always family first.
Yeah,
They tell you that
reunification.
in the beginning,
Yep.
and I'll be honest, there were many times with many of my placements very early on that they said, "Would you be willing to adopt this child
Mhm.
if, things don't go the way they're supposed to go?" They
Right.
ask you that question pretty early on,
Mhm.
and my husband and I always said, "We are open to it. We are open to it because you just
Mhm.
don't know where things are going."
Mhm. Mhm.
I think if it would have gone that way with that child, we probably would have,
Yeah. Yep. Yep. And did you request to stay in touch, or was it easier for you to just be like, "You know what? Let's
I
just."
always request to stay in touch. I always
Uh-huh.
tell the people that they're going to, like, "If you need me for anything, call me, text
Mhm.
me. If you're going away for the weekend and you need," like, I always was tried to be very open, and
Mhm.
I mean, I never fortunately, except for my first situation, the one with the very first one, that one, um, there was a boyfriend that was kinda threatening, so I would have not done that with him because, like,
Mhm.
there was one time with him where he, like, followed me out of the courthouse and got in his car and literally, like, was physically following me, so I was scared.
Ugh.
And
Yeah.
that was the only time that ever happened. All the other situations, they were just normal people in very varying different degrees of bad situations,
Yeah.
and so I never felt threatened or anything like that, and I could
Mhm.
just
Yeah.
be honest with them, you know?
Mhm.
So,
Was the one that you had for 18 months, was that your last placement? Did you stop after that?
no.
No. No.
Nope.
Okay. Okay.
Um, Trying to remember the order, I think I had 2 more after that, um, and my last one is the best story of them all because
Mhm.
she's my goddaughter now, and we're very, very close.
Oh, wonderful.
Um, she she went to another foster family that adopted her, and this foster family, I've given them your information, I'm trying to connect you to, but she's just
Oh,
so
great.
busy. She has
Yeah.
5 children that she's adopted from foster care,
Wow.
and, 2 sets of siblings, and then my goddaughter,
Wow. Amazing.
um, but they're just so busy, like,
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I can imagine. Yeah.
um, so she was with us for, I wanna say, like, 6 to 8 months, and then we slowly transitioned her over to this foster family who I'm still very good friends with, and they adopted her, and she's now 10, so.
Okay. And why was that? Can you talk about the circumstances? Why did you have to, or why did she go to a different foster family?
So, at that point, we had had a lot of placements. My
Yeah.
kids were a little bit older,
Mhm.
um, and I think we were open to it, but this family was like they were my respite family, so, like, when we
Mhm.
would go on vacation or stuff like that, they would take my kids, so they had formed a bond with her, and, at that point, my husband and I had pretty much decided we weren't gonna adopt anymore, like,
Mhm.
we were in the mindset of, we have helped all these children
Mhm.
by just fostering, and, we wanna help more children. Like, if we adopt, there's no way I'm gonna be able to foster anymore. I'm at my limit of children in my home, like,
Mhm.
it's a lot to do, and, so we decided we wanted to continue fostering, and then
Mhm.
I'll tell you what happened from that, but,
Okay.
so, I just asked this foster family casually, like, if they would be interested, and they were like,
Mhm.
"Absolutely, of course, we love her," and
Aw.
so it just ended up being the path, but we are very close, like, she has some issues medically, and I have been there with them through that, all of that,
Mhm.
we take vacations together, it's
Aw.
just like she's still part of our family, and
That's beautiful.
that will be that way forever.
Mhm. Did your children form a bond with her? Or they
Mhm.
bonded
Yeah.
with her? Oh, that's so
Yes. Yeah.
great. That's amazing. How was it for your other children through this whole, how many years would you say this was that it spans?
So the span of, like, where we had the most was 6 years,
Okay. Okay. So that's a
and
significant part of their childhood. I mean,
mhm,
that's yeah.
and it's interesting because now they're all young adults out on
Mhm.
their own, and they've just started talking to me about it, um,
Mhm.
where they talk to other people about it, like, "Oh, our
Mhm.
foster siblings," and they'd never really done that when they were younger because it was just our life, it was what it was, and
Right.
Um, th the kids just went everywhere with us, like, we took those foster kids everywhere with us. I
Yeah.
always got permission, like, usually it wasn't a big deal because the parents were not that involved, so the the county would just be like, "Yeah, that's fine." But, I mean, we traveled with those kids everywhere. They were just part of our family. It wasn't,
Right.
um
Yeah.
there was no
And
separation.
and I wanna just make the point, because I keep hearing this over and over again, how this affects the children, the biological children in the home in a very positive way many, many times, because it opens their eyes and their minds and their hearts up to, different lives, different needs,
My
differences in.
daughter, we had
Yeah.
this conversation. I took her to all those appointments with me, like, to the WIC office, to the Social Security office,
Mhm.
to the social services when we had meetings. She was my oldest one, probably the younger ones too, but definitely the oldest one. And, I asked her, I'm like, "Do you remember that? Like, do you remember?" Because it was not always we were usually with whoever was the biological parents. We'd have to meet up with them or sitting in the WIC office for 2 hours.
Mhm.
Not a great memory, but real life. I wanted my kids to realize, like, this is real
Yes.
life, and this is, you know
Yeah.
I think it did open their eyes. I hope that it was good for my kids.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think I don't see how it couldn't have been. I know that it also could be very difficult, and we can talk about that. But I think that there's that thing that is, you really can't even quantify it, how that affects a person to see things that they wouldn't otherwise see, to get a glimpse of their own privilege, right? And see how other people are living, what roads other people travel, all of that stuff. I just think, um, it's wonderful. That is a wonderful side effect. Do you wanna talk about any of the negatives? Were there negatives for your children?
I mean, I think sometimes just, the attention thing because an infant, especially if they have needs, needs a lot of attention. Um, but again, like I said, I just since a lot of them were really little, those babies just lived on me. I just, like,
Mhm,
wrapped them up and put them on me, and my, Zoe is the one who was adopted, the one who's my goddaughter.
mhm.
Her mom just always like, "You bonded that child." Like, I never put that child down. Those babies never were allowed to cry just because I just was like, "I need to get that attachment bond going however
Mhm,
it's gonna happen. I'm gonna make it happen." I had
mhm,
those babies strapped on me. They slept on me. They were never away from me, and Zoe's mom says she's attached, you can see that.
mhm,
There's, like, no attachment issues for her whatsoever
mhm,
because you gave her that. They say,
mhm.
"Thank you for doing that." And
That's
so with my
beautiful.
kids, that's how it was. The baby was just attached to me, and we went to soccer practice, and we went to do whatever. I drove them to school. I was on the PTA, and I always had a baby in the
Mhm,
stroller or whatever,
mhm.
just so I try to not make it negative.
Right.
Um
Yeah, yeah.
And if there was something we wanted to do as a family that they wouldn't let us take, um, the baby to, and there were certain things, then, I just really worked hard in developing those relationships with other foster families so that they could do the respite for me, and then when
Mhm,
they needed me, I would do the respite for them, and just,
mhm.
it's just a whole community that you really just take advantage of and work with.
How did you get connected to that community? Because that's something that I found I didn't have any of, really. I didn't really have it's one of the reasons I started the podcast. When I was going through it, I felt very much alone in it. I had my friends, but none of them were doing what I was doing, and that was difficult. How did you get connected?
So, I mean, through the county well, I did this all in North Carolina,
Mhm,
and, so, I mean, it would start with, like, when the first person we needed for respite, that's how you get introduced to another foster family,
mhm,
and then, you just connect and you keep onto that bond and you reach out to them or they reach out to you, but they would have events where foster families could get together,
mhm.
where you could meet other foster families, I mean, it wasn't easy, I'll say that, you really have
Right.
to make that extra effort, you really have to search for it. That's
Mhm,
basically how I did it. I also, like, every single person that I knew, because my kids were all in, like, a kindergarten through 8th grade school at the time,
Mhm.
and that community as well was super, super supportive of everything we were doing, and
Mhm.
most of those moms would go in and get, like, their background check so that they could babysit for me, like, everybody was just
Wow.
really helpful,
That's great.
so
Yeah. That's wonderful. So you stayed in touch with the child, Zoe,
mhm.
and, but you were still fostering at that point,
So, we were
after that?
fostering at that point. At that
Mhm.
point, I think after Zoe went, we, like, took a deep breath and was just
Mhm.
like, we decided we were only gonna do emergency placements. So we went
Okay.
from long-term care to
Mhm.
emergency placements,
Mhm.
which were not easy either because 'cause they're usually like 2 o'clock in the morning, "Can you come down to the hospital
Mhm.
and take this child?" And usually those cases are a lot sadder, I guess you would say, if
Mhm.
a baby's at the hospital and you need to go pick them up for whatever reason.
Mhm.
So those placements were usually, like, anywhere from 48 to, like, 2 to 4 days. They weren't very long before and we didn't get a lot of information on that because we were just an emergency placement.
Right.
So,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep, yep, yep. And what made you finally say, "Okay, I think we're done with this?"
So the only thing that made us do that was that we moved.
Okay.
My husband got a job, and we needed to move to Arizona, and, North Carolina said, "Well, you have to give your license back. You can't even keep your license. You have to,
Oh,
like, give your license back."
okay.
And, um, and then we moved to Arizona, and so then it was like, if we wanted to do it in Arizona, we had to go through the whole training again,
Mm.
and, what I decided when we went to Arizona instead is I went and got trained and became a CASA, a guardian ad litem, and I did that while
Mhm.
we were in Arizona.
Amazing. Can you
Yeah.
tell our listeners, if they're not familiar with that, what that is?
So a CASA is a court-appointed trying to remember. It's a guardian that
Yeah.
the court appoints, for a foster child, and it's a volunteer some places they might pay, but this is a volunteer position, and you get trained, and basically you get assigned a child, and you go with that child through the whole process, in their while they're in the foster care system. So
Mhm.
you meet with their social workers, you meet with whoever their foster parents are, their biological parents, you go to all the court hearings, all the meetings, and basically you're just another set of eyes and ears and opinion,
Mhm.
on what you think is best for that foster child
Mhm.
that is separate from, family or foster family.
Mhm. And is it mostly for, older children that are in the system, or
No,
could it be for anyone?
any child, yeah.
Okay, because I was wondering, yeah, like, we weren't assigned a CASA.
Well, there's not many of them, that's the
Okay.
problem, so
Uh-huh.
anybody that wants to do that should look into it,
Yes.
there are not enough of them.
Okay.
It's not a very rewarding thing, I will say. I only did 2 cases, and then I kinda just stepped back because you're not the judges really, really appreciate you, and they really want you there, but
Mhm.
everybody else in the system is not that friendly about it,
Mhm.
including the social workers and the foster parents. They don't take you very seriously, so it was hard because you're really there trying to do something important and, not being
Yeah.
taken seriously is kind of hard.
I can see that, yeah. Were they feeling like you were sort of interjecting in something that you didn't, like, know anything about, or you were just superfluous? What was that?
Yeah, superfluous, like, it's like
Yeah.
for a perfect example is the first case that I had was a baby, a Down syndrome baby, so I was like, "I need to be there, and I need to be on
Mhm.
top of this and make sure this child is being placed in the right place," and, um, the courts, like, within a 3-month period, they let the foster parents adopt the child legally with nobody contacting me.
Whoa.
Nobody. I was contacted after the fact. Which ended up turning out to be a horrible the foster family ended up, like, being arrested and stuff for other things with other kids, so it ended up in a
Oh.
horrible thing, but, like, yeah, we're not really held as being important and, like,
Right.
not at the top of the list to call when things happen and important things are happening, and
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
I just kinda got, like, pushed under the anyway, I was
Wow.
so mad that I was like, I went and I did another case just to make sure that, like and then it was just so hard, just such hard work, and sometimes
Mhm.
It's just too hard.
Yeah, no, I get that. That's so weird with them adopting out a child that, like, were the parental rights were already terminated, or, like, how did they terminate rights within 3 months? That usually
Yeah,
never
that was the
happens.
weirdest that was the whole thing. I don't
Yeah.
even know how it happened. It was like a quick adoption, and the social worker
Uh-huh.
was like, "It was a quick adoption, and we just did it quickly." Because the people who adopted them were one of those families who adopt a lot of special needs kids. I don't know
Uh-huh.
their reasoning for doing it. I'm not
Uh-huh.
gonna say what my opinion is on that,
Uh-huh.
but, so their home is kind of almost like, a facility, because they have so
Oh,
many kids there that they're taking care of, and the
I
state's paying
see.
for them to take care of it, and it was an
Yes.
infant. I don't know why it happened. I don't know why it happened so fast. I was not happy
Mhm.
about it, and
Yeah. Wow.
yeah.
Um, if you walked away from it, you said, like, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. Did you ever miss it? Like, miss working in this capacity?
Oh, I always miss it. I'm always looking for I live in Massachusetts now, so I've
Mhm.
already, started looking at how to be involved here. It's so different in every state,
Mhm.
um, and there's things needed for I mean, excuse me, they don't have, volunteer casas here or guardian ad litems here. They have other things that they want people to volunteer for, but,
Hmm.
yeah, and I've also always thought about possibly going back into foster care and doing that now maybe with older kids, because
Mhm.
now that my kids are older, I've been through the experience of teenagers and,
Yes.
back
Yes.
then, I didn't have any experience of that, so I wanted younger because I'm like, "I don't know what to do with a teenager," but now I've
Right.
done it all, so
Well, that I'm sure that would be an incredible gift to whomever you took into your home. Yeah, that's huge. What are some of the other ways that you can help? Because I know a lot of listeners, they're like, "Well, I wanna help, but I don't think I can foster." I'm, like, not ready for that. What else can you do in Massachusetts? Have you found out?
yeah, so they do have, they have teams of volunteers from the community, from all different types of, that they bring in to I don't know what they call them, an advisory board maybe,
Okay.
where you go in and you just discuss a child's case and what you think. So it's kind of like the guardian ad litem, but you're not directly involved. They just place all the facts in front of you and say, "This is what do you think that is in the best interest for this child?" So
Hmm.
they have that here,
Okay.
which is what I've been looking at.
Mhm.
There are also, so many ways to just help, like, in foster communities where they have, churches or organizations where you can donate things, like those
Mhm.
items that new foster families need. Instead of having to go out and buy money, they can go to this community closet and get
Mhm.
X, Y, or Z what they need. There's a lot of places to do that.
Yep. Very
Um,
important. Yep.
yeah.
That's great. How do you think this changed you and your life, like the trajectory of your life? I know that's a
I'm
big question.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's life-changing for sure.
Mhm.
Um, I just view the world very differently. I'm very I really try not to judge anybody because when you see so many walks of life and you don't just see what this person is, you see where they come from, what they're dealing with. I like all those birth moms, like, when I
Mhm.
went into fostering, you have this one thing, this one perceived notion of these babies you're getting from these horrible parents or these
Mhm.
horrible moms that can't take care of their children, and that's not how I feel anymore.
Mhm.
I go in and I see these women that have a whole story behind their life, and their problems, like, I wouldn't wish on anybody,
Mhm.
and the child, unfortunately, it's not their fault. So you just view things differently. I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah.
It's hard to explain, but I just really don't judge anymore and just if I can help people in any way, I try to help. I
Yeah.
also have learned that I have to, like, limit myself to what I help too, because I've also become like that kind of person who just helps and helps and helps and helps and forgets to take care of myself. So,
Oh, yeah.
you know, it's
Oh, yeah, I can identify with that.
yeah.
Totally. What about your husband? Like, how did this affect your relationship? Are you still together? How was that for him?
We're still together.
Okay.
It was hard during the time because it was
Mhm.
like bringing another we had 3 kids, and 3 kids was hard. So bringing another kid made it harder, but, he's always been very supportive and open, and he just treated it like another child in the family,
Mhm.
and I think him being very open in the beginning just I think we did the right path with not adopting because our family and our kids have been a lot. Like, it is a lot
Mhm.
to raise 3 children. You don't
Yeah.
know it until you're doing it and you're going through it, and it still is. My kids are out of the house, and we're still raising our 3 children. Like, there's still it's
Mhm.
a lot.
Mhm.
So, I think it was he was in the right state of mind when he was like, "Let's just see what happens." And if we would have adopted, it would have been fine, but it's also fine that we didn't. I'm
Yeah.
okay with that in my heart, I feel like it's okay because we have a lot going on with our kids.
Right. Yeah. It's really beautiful, and what a gift. I mean, just what a gift to all the children that were able to be safe with you and loved by you during that time, you
Yeah,
know?
I feel like we did something important and something special, and
Mhm.
even if we never see these children again, I know a piece of my heart is with them, a piece of their
Mhm.
heart is with me, and, we talk about them all the time, we have pictures
Mhm.
of them in our house, so, you know.
Mhm. That's great. What advice would you give to anyone who might be interested in doing this now with your hindsight?
So, I mean, the only advice the biggest thing is, like, you just have to really be flexible and open to anything. If you go in with a mindset of, "This is how I want it to be exactly," it's not gonna happen,
Mhm.
It's really not gonna happen. If you're going in just to foster, then just enjoy that child and love that child, and, if you're going in for foster to adopt, 'cause like I said, I know a lot of people who did that.
Mhm.
Do the same thing. Go in and love that child, be there for that child, be ready for anything,
Mhm.
be ready for anything, and accept the family, the craziness that's outside of your family, the family of that child, you just kinda I think you have to accept that and just go with it and just be open to anything, because if you're closed off and you don't allow that to be part of your life, it'll be more difficult.
Hmm,
Does that make
interesting. It does, but I wanna dig a little deeper. What do you mean by allow it to be a part of your life?
So, my friend, the ones who adopted Zoe, like, I've watched them, they have 5 adopted kids,
Mhm.
and they have been so open and connected to the biological family of these kids from
Mhm.
day 1. Like, I don't know if I would have done that, like, that
Mhm.
like, I don't know because I didn't do it, but I don't know if I would have done that, but they have. So,
Mhm.
watching them, it's been really interesting, and their kids are far from perfect, they have a lot of issues, and, but they're just the conversations that they have, there's no questions, like, their kids can come to them, ask them anything, talk about their biological parents, like, I know I would be so uncomfortable and have to get through that and teach myself how to do that, but they have
Mhm.
just been so open from day 1 that it's not an issue. Their kids can
Mhm.
talk about it to anybody, to each other, to them, and I think for their that'll be better for their kids in the long run. There's never gonna
Mhm.
be that question of, "Where do I come from?"
Mhm.
Or,
Mhm.
of course, obviously, appropriate conversations according to the kid's age, but, um, there's no there's no mystery,
Yeah,
you know?
incredibly important. A great piece of advice, actually. Yeah, there's just so much research showing now that that's just so important, for the children.
Right, which has changed so much, right?
Mhm.
Since, like, I know when I first started looking into it, there was the whole open adoption versus closed adoption.
Right.
I'm sure that's still out there, but I mean,
Yep.
that's something you really have to think about, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I think in some, there may be some certain situations where it might be dangerous. And in
Yeah,
that case, maybe that's not a great idea. But other than that, I think it's just, yeah, it's incredibly important for the children to just know for identity's sake,
right,
like who they are and what their history is and who they come from, and obviously medical and all different kinds of things. So,
right,
yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
yeah.
Is there anything else that you would like to share or that I've missed that I haven't asked about that you were thinking about that you wanted to share?
I don't know, I mean,
And if
no.
not, no worries,
No,
but
I
I
mean,
just
it's an honor to be on here. I mean, adoption, foster care is so dear to my heart, like, I will be involved with it in some way or form for the rest of my life.
Mhm,
It's just the way it is, and
mhm,
anybody who is involved in it, whether you've adopted or you're fostering, I mean, you have to be a special kind of person. Like,
mhm,
you have to be a strong person with a big heart, and I admire anyone that
mhm,
goes this path. I really do.
mhm. Yeah, it's almost like once you know, it's so hard to turn away once you know what the need is. And I don't know about for you. I never imagined that this would be a part of my life. Like, I didn't grow up. I know some people really, I've talked to a lot of people actually who've been like, yeah, I always had this feeling that I was going to foster or adopt or something like that. I never really did. And so it's been heart expanding in that capacity for me, certainly. Did you have that when you were, I'm just curious, did you always kind of think that you would do something like this, or was it totally a new thing for you?
I think deep down, I always knew. Like, that for me, like, I don't know where it came from. We don't
Mhm.
have family that's been adopted or relatives or anything like that, but that's I'm just that kind of person, like, my sister had 5 kids, they were in the system, and I think that's where it stemmed from. Like, I saw
Mhm.
them in the system, and, I was too young. We're too far apart in age to do
Mhm.
anything to help or guardianship like that, but, I just saw what they went through, and I think that's
Mhm.
where it stemmed from.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. It's funny, I do remember when I was a little kid, I used to pretend that I was an orphan child, like, a
Yeah,
lot. Like, I I don't know why I always did. I always had this, like, that was one of my things that I played, and that I had these siblings and we were all parentless, and we had to, like, make our way in the world and, like, I don't know
it's
where
like
that came
Annie,
from.
right? Like
Yeah. Maybe it's that trope, yeah, that
yeah,
comes up a lot.
yeah,
Anyway, it is so lovely to talk to you. Thank you for your work
same.
in the world, and thank you for taking the time to speak with me today.
Of course, of course. I don't know if I helped at all with what your podcast is about, but I'm glad I could be here and would love to talk to anybody anytime if you have any questions.
Amazing. Yeah, no, I think you did. I think you did because I think just talking about it, that's like the first step is just hearing, and it turns on light bulbs. It's like, oh, I didn't even know that was a thing, or I've thought of that, but I didn't think anybody else did. Or, you can never really, again, you can't quantify like what the ripples that this conversation will have.
If you
So,
are on the fence about fostering, I say go for it because the thing is, like, it's not there's nothing set in stone. Like, you can do it and you can foster one child, and if it's not for you, then it's not for you, like, but if it is, it will change your life.
yes, yes. And I love that message, especially because I get a lot of older women that are like, well, I'm too old. Like, I can't do it
Oh,
now because I'm too old. And I'm like, that's not true. You
no,
can. Yeah,
no.
you
You
really
can do
can.
it.
Yep.
They can do it.
Hmm. All right. Well, thank you so much, Nikki. And just so happy to have you here.
Thank you.